Hi, I'm Miss Dara from the Rogers Public Library, and today we're doing Design with Miss Dara. So we've been talking about the principles of design, and so today the one that we're talking about is emphasis. So you'll need your packet that you can pick up at the library. We're starting with brand new packets for April, so it'll have all the supplies you'll need, paper supplies that you'll need. You also will need a few other supplies each time to complete your packet, like glue and markers and things like that you'll need. So let's get started. So emphasis is kind of like the main idea in a paper. It's the main idea of a picture. And so it's what your eyes are drawn to, what grabs your attention. So it's like the focal point of your picture. So it can be achieved with many different elements of art. For example, this one, the emphasis is this big red dot in the middle of the paper. And it does this by using the little bitty dots. They don't catch your eye near as much as this great big one does. Or in this one that you can do from your packet, what draws your eye is this yellow dot here. So if you'll notice, these are spaced out and it gets closer and closer together to this dot right here. So we did that by making the pieces closer here, but also with the color by making this one a bright color where these are kind of duller. So that's one project you can do. So to do this project, you'll just need a glue stick, and then out of your packet, you'll need to grab a piece of white paper, and there is a bag in here that's got dots in it. And you can do yours in any configuration that you want to do it. Just take your dots out of your bag and start gluing them to your paper. So, for example, we'll do a really quick one here. Let's put my dot for this one. Let's put it right in the center. And then I'm just going to put dots around it instead of using the pattern of the paper or how close together they are. I'm just using that color on this one to make it. So you can just stick your pieces down however you want them. And you could do them all spaced out like this, or you could do them really, really close like this here, so that it just barely leaves space. It's bad when your fingers get stickier. It just barely shows up any of the orange here. It almost covers it all. And you can see a totally different design, but it still draws your eye to the center of that because that one's the brighter color. It also draws it because that's a clump of the blue compared to all this empty white space. All right, so that's one project you can do. I'm excited to see what you guys do with that one. And here is the other project. So for the other project we're going to do, you also need a white piece of paper out of your packet. And then you're going to need a Sharpie, and I used oil pastels, but you can use crayons or markers or whatever you want to use with it. If you use pastels like I'm going to use, you also will need a paper towel. So what I did with mine, so let me show you my final project here of what I did. I just drew my heart on here, and then I did Zentangle on the outside. So I used all of these lines and stuff, but they're all in black and white so that this colored part will be your emphasis because it draws your eye there because it's so bright compared to the rest of it. So all you do on this, so if you were going to do this the same way, you can put your heart anywhere. Just draw yourself a heart. Mine's a little bit lopsided, but that's okay. And then just draw some squiggly lines out from it. And don't do them too far apart because it's kind of hard to fill the space if they're really wide. So I just draw some lines out. Kind of like this. And then I'm going to take, and you just draw patterns on it like is on this one. So you can do any kind of design. I did dots, or there's kind of a spider web design, some little curly Q designs or lines, kind of a check, or just anything. You can do it. You can fill it up kind of like I did this one, leaving some white spaces, or this one is actually little bitty circles all filling it up. This is a check with just circles around it. So you can do it however you want to do yours. Just fill up those spaces. So like you can just draw squares. And I'm going to do mine really quick here just to give you an idea. And if you have a problem of going off the edge like I do and you don't want to get Sharpie on the table, a good way to do that is to grab the black paper out of your packet and just use it to go behind your paper so that you don't go off that edge. I'm just going to do a crisscross here. And then curly Q. Some curly Qs. So it could be anything. Some stripes. And you can make some of those stripes thick and some thin, however you want to do it. So you've got the idea. So let me show you how I did the oil pastels. So you just go around and color really dark around the outside of your heart here. I just about said circle there. So do really dark on the outside. Try not to go outside of your heart, but it happens. And then just kind of color it. And it doesn't have to be perfectly colored because we're going to make it go all together. Okay, so, and I put a little bit of white in the center here, just kind of to give me a little bit of white there. Okay, then you take your paper towel and just start smearing it. And I just smear mine towards the inside. Try not to go outside of your heart. And if it starts getting too much on your paper towel, you can just move to a different spot, fold it differently, something. And if you notice there's white spots in here that where you don't want it to be white, you can always take your pastel and just color a little bit more right there. So it's a little bit faint here. So you just color a little bit more and then just wipe it. So you want to get most of it where it's thick. You just kind of wipe it off. And if you decide you want more white in the middle, you can just put some more white on it and it'll lighten it up. And then just kind of smooth it in there. And wipe off anything excess. Otherwise it's going to stay on your paper. As you see, there's little dots still on mine. You can just wipe that stuff off. And that's how you do your center. And then you just finish filling in all of this and it'll look something like this. All right, guys, so there you go. That's how you do, how we're doing our emphasis projects. So do yours and let me see what they look like. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.